And
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
for some of our readers who are new to you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into writing?
Okay. Well, it started about, I guess it's been about 12 years now. I was staying at home with the kids and, wanted something to do. And my sister and I, we've always kind of been readers, and she had recommended a series of books to me, and I had read them, and just kind of didn't like how one of them ended. We've all had that. And I love the series. I just didn't like the ending. And so I kind of complained for like a solid week. I've never done that before, by the way. But for like a solid week straight, I just did nothing but complain about how I hated the ending of this book. And, and she finally just got sick of hearing me complain about it. She said, if you think you can do better, then you write a new ending to the book, and I'm the youngest of 5 girls. So of course you don't ever dare me to do anything. So I went to sit down and I was like, I will, and I sat down and I started playing around with some ideas, and you start getting one idea and then you get another and another, and then you get so many that I was like, I'm not writing an ending to that lady's story, I'm just going to write my own, and I only meant to write like 2 pages worth, just something, that was, just to show off, I guess. And I did. I wrote, a couple of pages, and I went and read them to my sister, and she said, that's pretty good, and so read them to a few other people, and they said the same thing. And you get that writing bug just kind of bites you, and and you're hooked. So that's how I kind of got into writing, and I just kind of never stopped. So it was kind of a dare from my sister, and it just never ended. So so I've been writing ever since. But
And was that first initial book also in like a rom-com, or was it a different?
No, it was, honestly, it was a paranormal. It was like completely, and I did finish the book. It'll probably never see the light of day. I call it my practice novel. So, it's just one of those books that it needs a lot of work. So I think I made every, like, when you're writing and you don't know how to write, you're making mistakes left and right. So I think I made every single mistake you could as a writer, in those books. And so I just said, no, okay, I'm not gonna, do that anymore. And I ended up switching off into something else. And then that one was the one that, I got picked up by an agent, and then, publisher, and went on and on. So now I'm 9 books down the road. So yeah.
Wow. I know a lot of your books, and you've talked about it, having them, that they are romance with a sense of humor.
Right.
And especially, I know when I was reading them, there were a lot of laugh out loud moments in both these actual situations people found themselves, along with the dialogue and the commentary. I mean,
Right.
How do you get that into the books? I mean, how do you stay?
Well, so, I come from a family where we're all jokesters, my mom, my dad, my sisters, just kind of everybody, even my kids, so it just kind of keeps going. But we just like to laugh. I mean, we like to, joke around and, play with each other and just have a good time. And I also like to be very positive. So it's, just, we do pick on each other, but nothing too mean, but it's just one of those things. I don't think I could write a book without humor, because I could write, like killing somebody off, and it would be funny at some point. We would laugh about it at some point. It's just hard for me, because everything to me is, not everything, but most things are a joke. I can make a joke out of them. I also deal with things with humor. Like, if you have something bad happen to you, why not put a funny spin on it? It sure makes it a lot more pleasant, So I'm a firm believer, and you can turn anything into a positive, laugh at it, whatever, and it'll be fine. So yeah, I just love humor. I think it's a great way to, just get through your day. So everything I write will probably always have some kind of humor in it.
Well, I think that was what really appealed to me with a lot of the books too, is that it was something you could really relate to.
Yes.
A lot of times there are those days, you got to laugh or else you're going to cry.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Bad things happen to everybody, and it's kind of what makes the world go around, I guess. It just, things happen, and you do have to put that funny spin on things and go, I'm just not going to lay down and cry about it. I mean, why? Things are going to happen. You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to be, humiliated. You're going to, just have people ruin your day. You might get in a wreck. You might, have a flat tire, whatever it is. put a fun spin on it, just make it into something fun. I think me and my husband and my kids, we could probably make anything fun. I don't care what it is. We can go to a funeral. It'll be funny. We'll have a great time. It'll be fun. We'll try not to laugh, but it's, it would be funny. So.
Well, even with this book, I mean, out of the blue, it kicks off with the funny scenario that Presley finds herself into. And I know I had my own experience with a Nordic track when they were first coming in the college gym, which thankfully there was no cell phone recording on that. But was there a real life inspiration that kind of triggered this one for you?
I have never had a great relationship with gyms. Every gym I've ever went to has just, I've been that person who's walked around and you see all these machines and you don't know how to use them. And you don't want to be embarrassed, like sitting there trying to figure it out. Other people get on them and they just start going. And I'm sure they learn to use them at some point. But, when you're already feeling awkward because you're, maybe bigger than other people, that are in the gym, you got some really people that are into like really fit, they're sleek little racehorses in there, and you just don't want to compare, and I think everybody does. And, you don't want to compare yourself to them, but you kind of do, and you feel awkward and you're just in an awkward position. But I've even made the gym funny. I mean, I go into the gym, I do make it funny and we laugh, but there's still those awkward moments where, things happen. I've not fallen off of any piece of equipment, but I've came close, so yeah. Yeah. You
I don't want to end up being that video of this is how you do not use the machine, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You don't want to be that person. I don't know. There was nothing really that it was more, I think, the awkwardness of it, like in Out of the Blue, Presley, there's the kind of one of the first scenes, it's right off the bat is she's sitting in her car, really not wanting to go into this gym. And I have been there, and I'm sure lots of women have been there, or men, just you don't want to go in because you know how you're going to feel when you go through those doors, and you just don't want to be awkward and kind of weird about the machines, and you don't know how to use them, and you don't which machine do you use first, and how, what are you doing, so it's a tough thing, but you just try to put some humor on it and spin it around.
Well, and I think that's one of the things throughout the series, the sense of self really comes across in all of your characters. I mean, it's a running element, right? And not only with curvaceous heroines, but how important was it also to include elements from your heroes? Because they also had different issues that they brought out. I mean, Adam had it as the body and being in fit, but you also had it with some of the other characters, like with Max, with his background.
Yeah. I've had guys in my life, I mean, even my husband will say, oh, I need to get in better shape. Lots of guys, have that same issue that women have, that, maybe they don't want to go to the gym because they don't want to compare themselves to the guy next to him that's a bodybuilder. And, so I think it's just one of those things that, I wanted to show like men and women both have the same issues with that. But, it's just like in the third book, the one you were talking about, Max, he's in Mortal Love. In that book, I didn't want to give her the issue with her weight. In my first book, Size Matters, I had the deprecating heroine who, she kind of been criticized all of her life for her weight by her mom. And then you had in the second book, on the plus side, there was the very confident heroine. And then you had in the third book, I really wanted her to be a foodie, somebody who didn't really care about her weight. She just didn't care either way. She didn't plan on losing weight. She wasn't trying to lose weight. But I really wanted to kind of give it a little twist and put a guy in there that had a food addiction. And, he has issues that many women face, many men face, and still do something with that. So, and even though he's fit now, he wasn't at one time. And he knows how hard it is, that it's that slippery slope of you can get back, into the bad habits and things. And so I just wanted to twist it and show, that kind of side of it. I'm trying to do, I guess with this series, my main goal is to kind of give everybody a different heroine or hero to look up to or admire. Maybe somebody that, they can just relate to, better than the next one. Some people want to see the curvy heroines, and then some people, the ones that, are like, okay with the curves, and then you have your other ones who they don't want to see that, because they don't feel that. If they're not somebody who has that confidence, sometimes they better relate to heroines like Leah, who is a very self-deprecating heroine. And Presley was one of those. I kind of think she was like just middle of the road. It was more about her health to her, getting her health, in shape. She really needed to protect her health and do something about it. And I really love that we had, then put that spin on it rather than, just trying to lose weight for some guy or.
Mhm. And I think that was the aspect in each of the books in this series too. I mean, all the heroines were described as curvy ladies. So you knew that they weren't necessarily a size 2, but
Right.
you didn't know where they were on the scale. And that wasn't really an issue either. And you could find things to relate. At least I definitely could, being a curvy lady myself.
Yeah.
For each of those characters, like, oh yeah, I've been there in that self-deprecating, or the struggles of being at the gym and what do I do? The foodie aspect. I mean, there's so many different things that you relate to. How do you incorporate that into your stories? Is that something that comes naturally, or are you consciously going and figuring those things out as you
It's so funny because I think it just like you were saying, like, we're curvy women. And I think at any point in my life, I've been each one of those women in each of the books. There was a time where I was that self-deprecating heroine, and there was another time where I was that, confident woman, that had the curves. It comes and goes, depending on what point of your life you're in. And I think a lot of people can say, yeah, I've been that at, times. And I've been that at times. So, it just, to me, it was just hitting all the points. Now, maybe at this time in my life, I could relate more to Presley, but yet at some point 2 years ago, maybe I related more to Valerie, so it's just more of that trying to hit on, I didn't want everybody to just see the same heroine in every single book. It needed to be different for me. Also, you get bored writing the same hero, and I wouldn't want to do that. So, you wanted to make them very different, and just, I was trying to make it as diverse as possible so I could reach as many women as possible that would see these in women and say, you know what, I don't relate to this, but I relate to this. And I actually had a lady on Instagram who, when she read Presley's character, she had commented, she liked the book, but she just didn't care about seeing a woman trying to lose weight. She wanted somebody that was confident with her curves and everything. And I went on and commented and said, hey, have you read, my second book? Have you read my third book? Because those have women who are not trying to lose weight. They're also curvy women who are pretty confident with themselves, and so she hadn't read them, and I actually just went ahead and sent them to her. I didn't make her go buy them. I just sent them to her and said, here you go. I hope you like them, and if you don't, that's okay too. Stories are just, everybody writes differently. Everybody, and she liked my writing. It wasn't that, it was just the she had a real issue with the girl losing weight. She just didn't care to read that. And that's fine. Everybody's different. So, it just, you try to hit as many people as you can with, okay, here's a bunch of different things for you to choose from. And I was glad that I could actually offer her 2 different books out of that series and say, how about either one of these? So that worked out pretty good.
I also love the sense of community in the books too.
Yeah.
All the women are supporting each other, and even the guys all through some ups and downs.
Yes.
Friends, right?
Yeah, I come from a very small town where I grew up knowing everyone. So, community was a thing for me growing up. And, my uncle was like the head constable, and my aunt worked at City Hall, and, I knew everybody. So, it's one of those things, you do want that support system for everybody. Plus, I think there's so many hard things sometimes in the books that you want that support system for each of the heroines or heroes that need somebody in their life, to a buddy, a friend, or whatever, just to kind of back them up, or maybe even just to tell them, hey, you know what, you're doing wrong by doing this, and kind of challenge them a little bit. So it's always fun to write friends in, and include them. So it's funny though, because Presley was not somebody who made friends very easily. She would push people away. She had this, she had some real abandonment issues because she was adopted. And so in her book, she was not somebody who had a lot of friends. People liked her. There was, all the girls in the town really liked her, but she wouldn't go and do things with them. And she, she kind of kept her distance from them. So I kind of really enjoyed being able to bring her friends to her in the book. So
How do when you're writing the story, I mean, is it the story and the situations that come to you first, or are you building it around the characters?
I don't know. I think I flip back and forth. Sometimes it might be the first idea is for the situation. I think with Presley and Adam, I think it was more the situation. You've got a plus size girl who's going to go to the gym to try to lose weight, and she's going to fall for her personal trainer. That idea came to me, and then it was the characters with her. But with a lot of the other books, I think like Leah and Sam, I think I kind of had their characters in my head before the actual storyline, and I just had to find the storyline that I felt would fit them. So yeah, I think it just depends on the book. I think I flip back and forth. So,
because I'm loving the different fake relationships and how
thanks.
those two, right? It's like, oh, we're gonna fake engagement. It's like, oh, okay.
Those are always fun. Yeah, fake relationships are always like just something I love to write, and it's just something that it's easy to write because as you're writing there's just so much fodder to go through. They're going to have problems. People are going to say things and the other one's like, what are you doing? So yeah, that's a fun trope to write. So I think it's probably one of my favorites to write.
Well, we have a series of what we call the fresh fiction facts, which are lots of quick questions.
Okay.
Don't need a lot of thought into them, hopefully. But answer them short, long, whatever fit. Okay. And you already kind of addressed a little bit of the favorite trope to write. So what is your favorite trope to read?
Enemies to lovers. I think that's always a fun one. Yeah. Pitting people against each other. And there's a lot of humor that can come out of that, Yeah, that's
what's your favorite genre to read? I mean, especially since you started out writing a paranormal.
Yeah,
read all over the place. Then
I go back and forth. I think romantic suspense is kind of where I stick at the most. I don't know. I kind of been thriller, some nothing horror or gory or but just it's always anything romance, really. I mean, I've kind of gone back and forth. Just I think I get in my kicks. I had a huge kick on Scottish Highlanders not too long ago, and that was all I was listening to on audiobooks. And I think everybody around here was sick of it. But my husband, he's picked up the Scottish brogue very well.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, he's picked it up.
Can always go for the accents, right?
Yes.
Now, one big debate we've had within our book club is if you're listening to audio, are you listening to it at regular speed or do you speed it up a little bit?
I do regular speed.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't realize people did actually speed them up until more recently. And I thought, I guess it'd make it faster. I mean, but yeah, I don't know. I think I just want to listen to people talk like normal, like that normal speed, normal tone. Yeah.
Well, especially with the accents, right?
Right. Yeah.
Highlanders.
Catch those accents.
Definitely.
Yes.
What is your writing day usually like?
Oh, Lord. I don't write every day. I know a lot of authors do. I can't. I have a very busy household. I also suffer from severe ADHD. And so I struggle with focus a lot. So a lot of mine's trying to get focused. And then once I'm focused, I usually am okay as long as everybody leaves me alone and the dogs are not barking and people aren't ringing the doorbell and whatever. So, I have to kind of plan those writing moments where I can, okay, there's nobody, I'm not doing anything today. I'm not going to have to stop in the middle of something and run off and pick up my son from somewhere. And, if you start having all those distractions, it really messes with me. So I do try to plan my writing around my schedule at home and, but it's not every day thing. But when I do write, it's a lot of just button chair and, just going. And I might have my water next to me. I might have a soda next to me if I'm really tired. But, snacks or whatever. And my kids are really good. I can text them now and be like, hey, bring me some goldfish crackers, So that's always nice. They'll nicely deliver snacks to me now. So, yeah, it's a lot of that. It's just, staying in the chair and writing and just trying to stay focused for me.
Well, with the ADHD, then mean, what are some of your tricks to get into the right mindset and to get focused?
It's tough. There's just some days where, I think, oh, I'm going to write all day and I might write 3 words. Seriously. I mean, it's that bad. But I think it's once I get in and I'm doing it, you kind of just you kind of focus and you get, on board with it. And as long as there's no distractions, I am just going with it. And I, just keep chugging along. But yeah, and I try to, like, if I plan to write the next day or the next time I come back to write, I always go back and try to reread some of what I've written before. And then that way it kind of helps you get back into that writing mode again. So yeah, it's tough. It really is. I know the it's like a psychologist, I guess, that I had seen that did the ADHD test on me. And he literally told me, he said, "How are you writing books?" And I said, I don't know, but I guess I have some kind of high functioning severe ADHD because I bombed their test. That's what he told me. He said, "You failed like the test. They grade you from like 1 to 100. I got ones across the board." He said, "You bombed it. Like, you didn't even earn the one. We gave you the one." So yeah, I couldn't have done worse apparently on that test. But
So when you write, are you doing it in complete silence, or do you have
yes.
complete silence?
Oh yeah. I know, a lot of people write to music and I wish I could, that'd be great. But if I turn music on, I end up singing and dancing around in my chair and tapping my foot and doing all this thing. And I just can't focus. I'll listen to more of the music than, so I have some noise canceling headphones and it kind of helps block everything out. And I can close my office door and, keep the kids out, keep the animals out. Because if I open my door right now, I have 4 dogs and 2 cats sitting on the other side of it. So they wait for me outside the door. So yeah, if I'm just kind of working around like on an outline or something that's not requiring a lot of focus, I'll let them in and they'll climb all over my desk, or the kids will come back and forth. And so they know if mom's got her door shut, do not open it, so
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah, I can understand the music. I can't do it with music. I get into it, but I can drown out the TV. So
Yes, I can't have any. Yeah, no, nothing for me. I can't do TV, music. I even just somebody talking. My husband just being in the room with me while I'm writing, it distracts me. And I'll tell him, "You're distracting me." He's like, "What am I doing?" He's like playing on his phone on Facebook, not making a sound. And I'm like, "But you're in here." And I keep looking to see what you're doing. It's a distraction. So I'm very easily distracted from whatever I'm doing. So it's a struggle, I have to work through it. So that's how I get the books done, I guess.
Well, what's your favorite distraction when you're trying to avoid writing?
Oh Lord. Let me think. There's so many. I have really been into this, like on YouTube. There's a girl who she does like a true crime recap or something.
Oh.
And I like listening to her. She's very calming. So I don't normally like a lot of that like true crime stuff and horror stuff and things, bad things that happen. But I can listen to her because she's so calming about it. And very respectful to like the families and things that have these really bad things happen to them. But I really like her. So I will watch a lot of her stuff. I probably should, because I should be working, but I do watch a lot of that. So, but other than that, I mean, just, the kids and the, husband and just anything with them. So I'll just go entertain myself with them if I want to avoid writing. So,
Well, since you can't really have distractions, I don't know if you would ever do something like this, but who would be your dream writer collaboration?
oh, I don't know. I have always been a huge fan of Linda Howard. Just love her books. I do go back and reread her books every year. I just love them all, but I had first read Death Angel by her, and I just love that book. So she would be somebody I would love to talk to and meet in person. And yeah, that'd be great. So I would say her. But Nora Roberts, I mean, I'll take anybody at this point. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
How do you celebrate a new release?
Usually we end up going to one of the bookstores or something and taking a few pictures and, just, hanging out with usually my husband will take off work and we'll just go do stuff together. But Usually there's a lot of me being on social media. So I think it's more him driving in the car and I'm on the phone trying to, handle all the social media stuff. But it's nothing major. Like we just kind of spend the day together, me and him. And if the kids are around, sometimes they'll hang out with us too, but sometimes they're in school or, it's Tuesday. So it's, school time. But yeah, we just kind of hang out and go to the bookstores and do our thing. Lots of social media though that day.
Well, which character from any of your books, character or characters, would you most want to be friends with and just hang out with for the day?
Oh, there's so many, probably all of them, but I really like Presley's character. I thought she was like a really kind person and she was very deserving of having friends. And I hated that she kind of pushed him away, but it was necessary, and I think she's so deserving of just, she's a good person and she deserves to have those friends that would hang out and treat her right, and it's probably her, I think. Yeah. And then Adam, he was just a heck of a guy. I loved Adam. I loved his character. I thought he was a very, he was so positive and just wanted to help her. And I loved how non-judgmental he was. So he would be another one, that, I'd hang out with a lot. I would like him to be my trainer, really, but yeah, we need to make him real so he can train me.
Well, kind of along those lines, who would you most want to be stuck in an elevator with?
Oh, Emily from Rules of Protection she's a little out there, but she would probably keep me very well entertained in an elevator. So I think that would be fun,
Go for the entertainment factor then, huh?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Because you may be there for a couple hours. So you got to have something to do. So she would she would keep you entertained.
What 3 items would you have on you if you were suddenly stranded somewhere?
My phone, probably my purse, and my husband, if he counts as an item. Because we're usually together. I mean, I spend a lot of time, me and my husband we've been married 20 years and, he's my very best friend and he feels the same way about me. And we just don't get sick of each other. Some people are like, I can't stand my husband today. And I'm like, mine never bothers me, So yeah, it's crazy, but if he's not working, we're probably together. That's usually how it works. So.
Well, I'm going to guess this is probably something that you'll do with your husband, but what is a favorite errand on your day off?
Favorite errand, not with my husband. I'm going to pick something different. My oldest son, he's 19. He still lives at home. He's in college. And he's a big Starbucks guy. He loves the Starbucks. And, I don't take him every day to go get it. But, here and there, just every few weeks or so, he'll say, hey, Mom, I'm going to ride with you to go pick up my brother. Can we go by Starbucks? And it's just a good time for me and him to kind of reconnect in the car and talk about this and that, whatever. And we talk all the time, but it's just like you're focused at that point. It's just the two of you. You're talking in the car and hanging out, and and so he's a good kid. And, it's just those little moments, that you have with your son. And, even though he's 19 years old, he still love you every night and all that kind of stuff, so it's great. It's great. I'm glad we have a good relationship like that. So.
Well, having all boys, what do they think about you writing romance? And especially because you're not exactly tame. I mean, there are some seriously steamy scenes.
I know. When my oldest was about, I think he was like maybe 13, 14 years old, he Googled me. Oh. And I know. I was like, don't ever do that again. He Googled me and it came up with Goodreads, and he'd heard of Goodreads. He knew it was a book site. So he went on there and he had read some, like where readers will like quote things from the book and tag you in it. So he read some of those. It was quotes from my book and he was horrified. So he's, Mom, I read the quote from your book and it wasn't a tame one either. And I said, do not go on Goodreads anymore. And he goes, but Mom, I need Goodreads because he's a reader too. And I'm like, okay, go on Goodreads, but do not go on anything of mine. And so, yeah, it was, and then my other son just more recently said something about, yeah, I'm going to look you up on Goodreads because he knew my oldest had. And I said, no, you're not. He's 13 years old. I said, do not go on Goodreads. I said, it's going to be sad if I have to block Goodreads from y'all's phones, but yeah, I just don't allow them. I'm like, don't Google mom. No, but I did offer for my oldest. I said, look, you're 19 now. If you want to read my books, I will totally let you. And he said, I don't know about that. He's read the quote, so I guess that was good enough. Yeah. So he's like, I don't know, I might in the future. So yeah, he knows it's there. If he wants to read them, he can. He's old enough. Yeah. But oh my God, I'm not gonna face him the whole day if he does. Yeah, I'm just gonna hide from him. I'll be like writing day and I'm gonna stay in my office. So yeah.
What luxury item or unnecessary product or service can you absolutely not live without?
I don't think there's anything that I can live without. I'm not somebody who cares about, and I know like my best friend loves like name brand stuff and things like that, and that's great, teach your own. I don't care about that stuff. If I'm just sitting here on a regular day, I don't have my hair done, I don't have my makeup on, I don't have jewelry on, so there's really nothing. I mean, I don't even wear a wedding ring. I mean, and it's like there's not anything like physical that I really would say I just can't live without, unless you want to count like a computer or something to write on. But there's nothing I couldn't live without except for family and my pets. That's about it. So anything physical, yeah, I could care less. People always talk to you about like, if you had a fire in your house, what would be the thing you grab? Well, my family and my pets, and I don't care anything about the rest of it. It can just burn. It's like, I mean, you want your pictures and stuff, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. Nothing stands out to me that's something I just couldn't live without. I do have a weird statue though that's pretty cool.
Oh.
I always show this to people because it's the weirdest thing. So it's a Haitian statue. Can you see it?
Yeah.
It's a Haitian statue. So here's the man, and this is supposed to be the woman, but if you look closely, she looks like a goat and they're kissing.
Oh.
My husband bought me this, and it's just the weirdest thing. And I'm like, I'll take it, so,
okay.
But yeah, I could live without it, but I just enjoy that.
So the family, the pets, and the statue pretty much then, huh?
Yeah, yes. It's just a weird statue. I always tell people, look at her, she looks like a goat. I don't know why. So
moving back to Out of the Blue, especially since Presley had the different literally the ups and downs with the stair climber and also the mud run, what is your most memorable athletic feat?
I don't know that I have one. I don't know. You know what? I really like dancing. I had moved to Germany at one point, and I had lived over there for about 11 months. And I came home, and I was actually in the middle of a divorce. And when I got home, I had lost like 6 sizes, I think, in like 4 months. It was really fast. I wasn't dieting. I wasn't exercising, or not normal exercising. I was just going out with my friends dancing all the time. And I just dropped weight, I was a lot happier. I think that added to it, but you just, the dancing, I just enjoyed that. And my husband just bought us a country swing program to do together. And I'm super excited to start that. So yeah, we're country people. We like the country music, and yeah, so it does sound like fun. It's couple dancing, all the fancy moves and stuff. So might learn a few of them. I can do the basic 2-step right now. That's about it.
Well, Alison, before we go into our reader Q&A, how can our readers keep in touch with you and keep track of what's going on?
You can, always go to my website at authoralisonbliss.com. And, you can find me pretty much on most of the social media sites. I'm on Facebook. I'm very active there. I'm getting more and more active on Instagram lately. I do have a TikTok, but I haven't even like really advertised that because I think I signed up and I haven't went back to it at all. So, but Twitter, all the regular ones. So I'm most active on Facebook and Instagram though. So those two would be the place to find me if you're on social media. Yeah.
And what should we keep an eye out for next?
So I'm working on, it's called The Fix Up, and it's going to be the next book in this series. And so that one will be probably coming out sometime this next year. So yeah, I don't know if they've released the pub date yet. So, but yeah, it's, you know, that will be the next one. And it's another plus size heroine. And I don't know how much I'm allowed to tell at this point, but it's about a heroine. There's some house flipping going on, and the hero will be helping her with that. But he had done something to her years before that she didn't like, so she doesn't come back to town very happy with him. So yeah, there's a little bit of that enemies to lovers, you know, in there.
Well, with that teaser for all of our, we're going to leave it off here. But Alison, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The time to spend with you tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.